Embarking on a journey of wealth planning can be both exciting and daunting, especially for women in their different life stages. Whether you are in your early stages of your career or navigating complexities of mid-career or planning for retirement, each phase presents unique challenges and opportunities. In this series, we will break down the essentials of wealth planning into simple, actionable steps tailored specifically for each of these life stages. We will empower you with the knowledge and tools needed to make informed financial decisions, build sustainable wealth, and achieve your financial goals. So let's embark on this journey together. I have the pleasure of having this conversation with Siba, Director and Co-founder of Mvelo Wealth. Siba, thank you for joining me. I want us to take this journey of now creating financial control and financial wealth. Stats and essays show that women are starting to get some sort of financial literacy. It is a powerful thing because many of us have been left behind and are still catching up. But with financial literacy and achieving your set goals and your financial control, how does one start this journey?
Sure, I love that question, and thank you for having me, Knox. I think it's quite important for us to understand basic financial literacy because it builds the pathway for us to create long-term wealth in the long term, right? And I think if you start with understanding financial products as well, so that if you walk into a bank, for example, and you're taking a financial product, whether it's a loan, a credit card, just understand, what am I signing up for? How long is it going to take for me to get out of this debt, for example? That will then talk to your debt management. Also, understanding financial literacy talks to your ability to save and invest and be able to create that long-term wealth. So it's quite important then that we equip ourselves as women, whether it be listening to podcasts like this and reading more books on financial literacy to equip ourselves to be more fin savvy.
I often hear ladies saying they need to wait for a certain time of their lives when they can actually now start this financial control journey. They want to earn the income first. They want to buy that fancy car with credit that you've just mentioned, that at times we do not know how it will actually take us to pay off the debt. With that said, Siba, is there a perfect time to start investing and saving?
I would say a perfect time is now. You know, we always think that when I earn more, I'll be able to save more. And I think the discipline for me is, even if it's your first month at work, if you set up that 500 Rand debit order, right, to just build your unit trust portfolio. And then as you earn more, you increase that debit order amount to 1,000 Rand, to 2,000 Rand, ultimately 5,000 Rand, to be able to reach whatever the financial goal is, whether that goal is purchasing a car, purchasing your first home, also depending on which life cycle the woman is in, you know. So it's quite important to also understand, where are we, what are our financial goals, and align now the investment strategy or, what we are saving for to align with how we're managing our money, including in terms of how we're also budgeting. I think all of this fits together like a puzzle piece.
Sure. So budgeting will be a critical part of where one should start looking at their finances. I'm assuming when you budget, it literally tells you where you're putting your money, right? And you can then control your money properly.
100%. Agree with you. And I mean, when we're budgeting, you're assigning your money. Yeah. Then it leads you to a situation where you don't end up not knowing where my money went, which is, you know, if you're not in control of your finances, then your finances are in control of you, in a sense, because you spend sporadically, you're not in charge. So sitting down and saying, because my financial goal is to buy that car, is to buy a house, what am I doing now? Speak to a financial planner so we can create a financial plan together to help me get to where I want to go.
Sure. I've got the plan, but things happen, right?
That's right.
Life happens to all of us. At that point, I've heard of a term called emergency funds. How important is keeping an emergency fund?
Absolutely. Very important. And also, you know, standard advice will say, have about 6 months worth of salary. For me, honestly, Knox, it is to start where you are today. Whether it is you manage to only save up 1 month's worth of salary, it's baby steps. So that, because I mean, if I just come to you and I say, you need to have a buffer of 100K right now, you don't know where to start. It sounds overwhelming. Where on earth, or how am I going to do it? Then it becomes like it's a goal that's unattainable. Whereas if you start with where you are, have a plan to say, you know what, this is where I am this year. Next year, June, I want to be in a different financial position. And what steps am I taking now to ensure that come next year, June, I'm in a better financial position? Going back to the point I just raised, speak to a financial planner, seek financial advice, empower yourself as a woman, read on financial literacy, read on finances. There's a number of books out there for women detailing, what to do in all life stages, for example, whether we're having a baby, whether we're getting married. So it's quite important then to be able to equip ourselves as women to be able to do better,
Sure. So if I hear you correctly, financial literacy, which comes with listening to such podcasts, keeping yourself informed, having a budget, and then having some sort of a savings or emergency fund that you know that you could use and tap into. Ideally, it would be 6 months, but your recommendation is
start where we are, because you
start
don't
where
want
you
to
are.
be overwhelmed. That's right.
Absolutely. Let's talk about debt control. It's a real topic for many of us in South Africa, and some speak of good and bad debt. How does one manage debt control in their strive for financial freedom?
Right. So as women, we're in different life stages, as I said earlier, Knox, and you'd find one is married or I'm still single. But what I think is important is if you're in a partnership, you've got someone who's your partner, it's quite important to be open and transparent about your finances, and together as a couple, sit and decide, how are we going to tackle finances? Do you see? And it's also quite important to have these uncomfortable conversations about money, because couples sometimes struggle. And I think, again, involve an independent financial planner, because that person is able to drive the conversation and take away the nerves between the two of you, to just help you budget together, to help you plan your finances together, and ultimately create a debt plan for you guys to say, all right, how much debt are we in? Which debt are we killing first? Let's have a 3 to 6 month plan, 12-month plan in terms of how are we getting out of this debt? How long will it take us to get out of this debt? All of those are then nicely answered with you and your financial planner when you consult. And even if you're a single lady, it's quite important also to be prudent with your finances, to understand where's my money going and how do I control it? And if I am in debt, seek help. I think that is crucial. And also get into a debt plan to see, again, as I said, if this is where I am this year, in 12 months' time, next year, June, what am I going to do differently in the next 12 months to move me from where I am today in this debt-burdened financial position that I am in to where I want to be next year?
Sure. Debt is really a concern, but if I am a first-time earner, I've just joined the market, I'm a first-time earner now, how do I quickly start, and how do I strategically start making the right decision, smart decision, to help me in this foundation of wealth creation?
Sure. And I really think foundations are the budget. If you control where you're spending and you know where your money is going, you can then structure a financial plan to say, these are my short-term needs, medium-term, long-term needs. And then you at least are setting yourself up to be able to avoid a lot of financial mistakes people make, especially if you don't consult a financial planner. I think it's quite important, even from an early age, as you start working, to consult a financial planner so that you've got this person who's going to walk the journey with you. You're not overwhelmed.
Are there avoidable mistakes?
Most certainly, Knox, because I think sometimes, especially as young professionals, I know when I started working, I got the banks, so everyone was calling me, offering loans. And I mean, you'd find most people have student debt. They want to pay that off. You can't buy a car immediately. There's pressures. I mean, when you start working, you need to find an apartment, furnish it. And so it's quite important then to get the necessary financial guidance that one needs, especially as they're starting out.
Very important to start out with a financial advisor from the get-go. Thank you. I just wanted to bring it back a bit. We've spoken about the budgeting. We've spoken about emergency fund, financial literacy. I really do want to start this journey. How do I now translate all these financial planning into tangible investment strategies?
That now goes to, so our starting point is our budget, and speaking to a financial planner to help us now have a financial strategy or financial plan in place. And that is, for me, the 2 key pillars, is for you to be able then to sit and say, what are my immediate goals, right? If you understand those goals, you'll then be able to have the plan to achieve them.
And what products are we considering? What products are we talking about here?
It would depend, honestly, on the financial need, because I mean, a unit trust, for example, is a general investment strategy that one can use for short term, medium term. Also, depending on where the person is and their tax rates and all of that, then you can consider endowments. Again, for me, what is important is understanding what the goal is and then align the financial product to the goal.
Financial product must be aligned to the goal, no matter what life stage you may be at. But key and fundamental to this whole conversation is literally having a proper plan.
There we go.
Siba, thank you so much for joining me. I know I'll have you again in the next session where we dive deeper into these topics.
Thank you for having me as well, Knox.
We hope the session has inspired you to identify solutions tailored for your current life stage, whether you're just starting out or you're approaching retirement. Reflecting on your financial situation and incorporating these key fundamentals, such as setting up a budget, maintaining an emergency fund, and translating your financial goals into appropriate products can make a significant difference. We recommend that you consult a financial advisor who will guide you through this journey of wealth creation.